You are Locked On Pirates, your daily Pittsburgh Pirates podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Locked On Pirates podcast. I'm, of course, your host, who does the most, Ethan Smith, and I wanted to get the video started off like that. Of course, those were highlights from 2020, but I wanted to show you guys what Ke'Bryan Hayes can do defensively at the third base position. And, of course, yesterday, Major League Baseball just... kind of just threw a wrench at the season that Ke'Bryan Hayes had defensively over at the third base position. And albeit I understand that the Gold Glove Award is a popularity contest, I do get it. I understand. And I also want to thank Palmer Sports and Major League Baseball for that video, by the way, as you saw on the bottom ticker here on YouTube. But welcome back to the Locked On Pirates podcast, where my name is Ethan Smith, your host who does the most. It is Wednesday, November 2nd, and clearly you can see that I am very, very upset about Ke'Bryan Hayes not winning a Gold Glove Award this year. Now, again, I get it. It's a popularity contest. But when there's a guy like a Ke'Bryan Hayes who has statistical backup to the nines. I mean, this kid has statistical backup all the way to the yellow brick road at this point in terms of just how good Ke'Bryan Hayes was defensively. Now, if we go to the wonderful baseball reference page of Ke'Bryan Hayes, the single greatest, of course, website of all time, you look at the fact that, sorry, I'm trying to stay calm because I know at the end of the day I am a podcast host and I don't need to rant for an hour because I could about this. But when you look at a guy that had 1,102 innings played this year at third base, and even a few at shortstop, he had 5 innings played at shortstop, a .972 fielding percentage, 307 assists, which led all of baseball, 109 putouts. You're looking at 428 defensive chances. 428. Only 12 errors on the year. 36 double plays turned. You're also looking at defensive runs saved above average at 24. You're also looking at defensive runs saved above average per 1,200 innings at 26. Range factor per 9 innings, which is putouts and assists minus innings played, which is 3.40. Very good. 3.13 range factor per game. The league fielding percentage average was .961. He was at a .972. And yes, I might sound like a stat nerd for being upset about this. But I'll just pull this graphic up on the screen for a second. That is defensive runs saved, not only for the third base position. That is defensive runs saved for all of Major League Baseball. Ke'Bryan Hayes led all of Major League Baseball in defensive runs saved this year, while playing about the same innings as everybody else on that list. Of course, Aristides Aquino and Jose Trevino not close on that list at all, or Michael A. Taylor. But Jose Trevino won a Gold Glove. Nolan Arenado, for whatever godforsaken reason, won the Gold Glove. Brendan Rodgers won the Gold Glove Award. What did Ke'Bryan Hayes do here to not deserve this award? And I'll tell you what it was. He didn't hit 297. He didn't hit 25 home runs. He didn't have 100 RBIs. He didn't have a 400 slugging. He didn't have a 850 OPS. For the love of me, I've watched baseball since I was about 4 years old. And the Gold Glove Award has always been an award that I found very cool. Like Andrew McCutchen was winning them. Corey Dickerson won one. It was Jacob Stallings wins one not too long ago. It was always a cool award for me to see be put out there. But why is the award for some players? It doesn't seem like it's all players. For some players, why is this award predicated on what is done offensively when it is a defensive-driven award? The literal award itself is called the Gold Glove Award, meaning it should only be factored in to the fact of what you did defensively. It can be argued, and I mean this in the most unbiased possible way, that Ke'Bryan Hayes had the best defensive season of any player in Major League Baseball this year in the infield. I don't count the outfield because the outfield's a lot different. Mookie Betts was probably the best defensive outfielder in all of baseball this year. He won a Gold Glove. If you're looking at just the infield alone, Ke'Bryan Hayes there's a very valid and strong argument to be made that Ke'Bryan Hayes was the best defensive infielder, not only in the National League, not only at third base, not only at his position, not only even at shortstop for the 5 innings that he played, in all of Major League Baseball, including the American League. Honestly, and I don't get upset about these kind of things too often, but this one kind of did. This is a joke. This is a flat-out joke. And I mean, again, I'll pull this up for you so you can see that I'm not BSing around here. Ke'Bryan Hayes led all of baseball in total runs saved this year. The guy led in putouts at the third base position. He led in a lot of major categories. I actually think I still have the graphic that I posted on Twitter yesterday while we look that up real quick. It's just, for me, I mean, range factor per 9 innings, he led. Assist, he led in baseball. It's baffling to me, man. It really is. And you're looking at a guy in Nolan Arenado who's now won it for 10 years in a row. And, I mean, it's crazy. Because at this point, screw it. If he's there, just give it to him every year. Just give it to him. And you know what people will go back to? They'll go back to, the sunflower seed play that Ke'Bryan Hayes had in New York a couple months into or near the back end of the year. The guy wasn't even involved in the play. It was a bad look, but at the end of the day, it wasn't like, that he was like directly involved in the play. But we're going to get a little bit more into this about some more statistics that back of why Ke'Bryan Hayes should have won the Gold Glove here in just a moment. But I want to let you guys know about the wonderful people over at Roan. Roan, of course, makes dress shirts. And the pains with dress shirts. They can be uncomfortable. They can be tight. You never can find your right size. You always have to go change clothes after they don't fit. Or you get sweaty in your dress shirt and you start looking a little weird. And then, looking good makes you feel good. We all know that. We all know that, men, women. We all know that. It makes you feel good when you look good. It really does, doesn't it? And that's why I invested in Roan. The dress shirt was due for a radical invention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Roan's commuter shirt is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible shirt known to man, and here's why. Mobility is everything. Roan's comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. Looking good is easy. It's time to feel confident with a wrinkle-free shirt without the hassle. With Roan's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the shirt. It's that easy. Odor-free tech with Gold Fusion. Anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And on top of that, Roan is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. Of course, I actually bought a dress shirt from Roan. It was very comfortable, made me feel very mobile. I was able to go to work and then go out and have a drink with some of my coworkers after the fact. worn it on a couple of dates. I've worn it to happy hour. I've been out with my friends. I've been looking good. I've been feeling good. And very fresh, man. It's awesome. I love it. And I think it's a big buy for anybody that should get it. The commuter shirt can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/lockedon and use promo code LOCKEDON. That's LOCKEDON to save 20% off of your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to Roan, RHONE.com/lockedon and use code LOCKEDON. It's time to find your corner office comfort and upgrade your closet with Roan and use Locked On to save 20% off at roan.com/lockedon. So, continuing with the Ke'Bryan Hayes was robbed of a Gold Glove award. I'm going to pull up this graphic again, which we actually saw in an episode last week. 99 outs above average, right? Very cool stat to see. Very cool stat to enjoy. And again, here's where I'm going to get with this for a second. I am not here to slander anybody. I am not here to say that a player didn't deserve the award. Haha, joking. Yes, I am. Nolan Arenado, once we look at his wonderful outs above average StatCast page, he's also in the 99th percentile, which was cool. He had a higher WAR. He had a higher batting average. He had a higher RBI total, higher home run total, higher slugging. He was just a better player all around than Ke'Bryan Hayes. Not really. Let's go ahead and look at this wonderful chart here. Plays that Ke'Bryan Hayes was responsible for. So all of the ones in orange are outs that he received. All of the ones in green and gray are ones that he had either an error or did not get an out in. So now I'm going to pull up that off the screen there so you can see the bottom here. Distance from the ball landing versus the hang time set. This might be a confusing graphic to look for a lot of people, but the fact that there is that much freaking orange is a very good thing for Ke'Bryan Hayes. Because that means at the hot corner, he was handling everything that needed to be handled over there, which is a very good thing. And for Ke'Bryan Hayes in this award, I'm sure he's going to win one at some point. But basically what Nolan Arenado winning that award yesterday told me for the 10th year in a row is that as long as Nolan Arenado doesn't have like 50 errors in a season, he's going to win the Gold Glove at third base in the National League. Let's bear in mind, by the way, that Manny frickin' Machado wasn't even a finalist for the award this year. That's highway robbery, in my opinion. Also, I thought it was also pretty hilarious yesterday that when the whole popularity contest thing started, I had Pirates fans in my mentions showing me that Vladimir Guerrero won a Gold Glove award over at first base in the American League, which has nothing to do with Ke'Bryan Hayes at all. But Vladdy was also 28th among all first basemen and outs above average. It's a popularity contest, guys. It really is. And it's unfortunate that it is, because for the kind of season that Ke'Bryan Hayes had, you really just have to look at the fact that you look up the list here of all the guys that won a Gold Glove this year in the National League. Max Fried wins it from the Atlanta Braves. JT Realmuto from the Phillies. Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks. Brendan Rodgers from the Rockies, Nolan Arenado from the Cardinals, Dansby Swanson from the Braves, Ian Happ from the Cubs, Trent Grisham from the Padres, Mookie Betts from the Dodgers, and Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals in the National League. In the American League, Shane Bieber, from the Guardians, Jose Trevino from the Yankees, Vlad from the Toronto Blue Jays, Jimenez from the Cleveland Guardians, Urias from the Baltimore Orioles, Jeremy Pena from the Houston Astros, Stephen Kwan and Miles Straw from the Cleveland Guardians, Kyle Tucker from the Houston Astros, and DJ LeMahieu from the New York Yankees. Especially in the American League, did you notice a trend? Only one player in the American League won a Gold Glove award that was not in the postseason, and that was Ramon Urias. Guardians have a lot. Blue Jays get one. The Astros get a couple. The Yankees get a couple. You then take that to the National League. Braves, playoffs. Philadelphia Phillies, World Series. Diamondbacks missed the playoffs. Rockies missed the playoffs. Cubs missed the playoffs. Everybody else was there. There is a major discrepancy in the fact that Ke'Bryan Hayes was just robbed of this award. Not only was he robbed of a Gold Glove, he should have had serious consideration for a Platinum Glove award, which is given to the best defender in each league. He should have had serious consideration for that award for his performance this year. Yet here we are, listening to Ethan ramble about it for 18 minutes. And again, it's not going to change anything. I just wish that they would stop predicating a defensive-driven award from offensive production. Because I have no doubt in my mind that they gave this to Nolan Arenado because Paul Goldschmidt's probably going to win National League MVP this year. So this was his little prize. Also, shout out to the St. Louis Cardinals. Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols are officially retired, and Adam Wainwright is returning. So we will see how that works out for the Cardinals. But now that I'm done talking about Ke'Bryan Hayes, Ke'Bryan, you are my 2022 third base Gold Glove winner. Just so you know, I'm going to die on that hill. I'm about to pull the UCF card and say that we're national champions, even though we didn't win the national championship. Ke'Bryan, you won the Gold Glove this year, pal. You were absolutely phenomenal. You couldn't have played better than you did, and the voters just didn't give it to you. Last night, I was watching the World Series, and of course, for all of you that did watch it, the Phillies won 7-0, take a 2-1 lead in the series, have a chance with Aaron Nola on the hill tonight to take a commanding 3-1 series lead on a Houston Astros team that just looks lost right now outside of Game 2. The most awesome thing that happened last night that's going to be talked about, it's already been talked about on Get Up on ESPN this morning. I'm sure it's going to be talked about on every Philly news station this morning, was that little subtle thing that Bryce Harper did with Alec Bohm, where he kind of whispered in his ear, said something, answered about it later about what happened, and virtually was just like, oh yeah, I had a lot of information and I thought I should give it to him. Alec Bohm hits a home run. And obviously, it looked like Lance McCullers was tipping his pitches, which, you know, any Major League Baseball player can notice that kind of thing. I wonder what would have happened if this would have been Jose Altuve talking to Yordan Alvarez. Where what Bryce Harper did was not cheating at all. If a player's tipping his pitches and you can notice it, good luck, pal. Good luck to the pitcher and Lance McCullers on that one. But I just wonder what the reaction would have been if it was Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez talking about it on the base pass as in regards to that. But, of course, Game 4 tonight between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Houston Astros. I do believe it's Verlander and Nola. I know Nola is definitely going for the Phillies after the 7-0 victory. Of course, it'll be on at 8:03 on Fox, and it is actually slated to be Christian Javier versus Aaron Nola. I think this is what, and personally, I talk about the World Series a little bit on these pods just because it's still going on. I think this is where Philly needs to just get it done. Philly needs to come out tonight at home at Citizens Bank Park. They need to just shut the door, go up 3-1, because then you get Game 5 at home. If they win tonight, I think the door's shut on the Houston Astros. I really do. Firmly. I believe that. And it's something that I didn't expect to happen. I said the Phillies in 7. It's still very possible. But if Aaron Nola can come back after those 2 bad starts that he's had recently, Houston, good luck. Good luck. But guys, thank you for listening to my rant today about Ke'Bryan Hayes and why he is the 2022 Gold Glove winner in the National League at the third base position. Thank you guys for tuning in so much today to the Locked On Pirates podcast. I know today was supposed to be Mailbag Wednesday. That is now moved to tomorrow, so it'll be Mailbag Thursday. And then Friday, I'm sure we'll have something to talk about. We could be talking about the Phillies freaking winning the World Series, for all I know, by the beginning of Friday. With that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Locked On Pirates podcast today. Make sure you go check out Locked On Sports Today, where we have a couple of the guys over there right now from the Locked On MLB podcast that have been on pretty much every day, from Locked On Phillies, Connor Thomas, H-Town Wheelhouse, from Locked On Astros. So go check that out, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with this graphic today, and I will see you on the flip side.